There was a time when Africa belonged to the wild, when its plains teemed with herds and packs, flocks and prides. Today, that ancient land endures in an extinct volcanic crater so secluded that it is a world unto itself. And Ngorongoro is the very core of Africa. It is as if all the continent were contained in one living capsule. Here, protected from the extremes that plague the savanna beyond, life flourishes. But where there is life, there is competition. For even in this latter-day Eden, predators flourish as well, in numbers beyond compare in all Africa. Some 20,000 animals crowd the crater, an extraordinary number considering its small area. But here, they have found a rich feeding ground and security. Even the beleaguered black rhino is gaining ground against extinction in this welcoming enclave. Yet it is predators whose populations are most swollen. More lions and hyenas thrive here than in any place like it on Earth. This is a paradise for hunters, and to them come all the privileges of being the fittest. Survival is not squandered on the weak. Deformed from birth, this zebra foal will not live to breed. In this unforgiving place, the powerless are the first to go. Born with only 3 legs, this wildebeest calf is destined for an even briefer life. With so many predators around, the laws of natural selection work at a fever pitch here. The creatures of this place are driven by a restless spirit, one as old as the crater itself, for its past was shaped by violent upheaval. This was once a vast volcano, formed some 15 million years ago. And Ngorongoro is part of the Great Rift Valley, a deep geological scar that runs along all East Africa, a land forged by fire. Over millions of years, an imposing column of volcanoes arose here to become the crater highlands of Tanzania. Today, only one volcano remains active. To the people who know this land, the Maasai, it is Odwinyo Lengai, the Mountain of God. These are the forces that were unleashed upon this region. Over time, the soil grew rich from the volcanic ash, and the earth here grew fertile. Life rose from the cinders and graced the Serengeti Plains. Here, about 3 million years ago, Ngorongoro's volcano collapsed, leaving this great bowl where it once stood, a vast caldera where our earliest ancestors may have walked. Only 10 or so miles wide, yet with all Africa seemingly within, Ngorongoro is a true wonder of the world. After generations, life here has adapted to patterns, well honed by times of abundance, by times of drought. Throughout East Africa, there is a season when no rain falls. 5 dry months of famine that the Maasai know as the scourge of the Red God. The crater is not spared, yet surprisingly, its animals remain within its walls. The wildebeest grow uneasy, but though there is some movement in and out of the crater, the herds here are not consumed with the urge to migrate, like those in the plains beyond. But why? What hold does Ngorongoro have on its creatures? The answer is no mystery. Year-round, underground springs keep Ngorongoro flush with life. And even in the dry season, there is often runoff from the highlands. Into the crater's soda lake comes a replenishing flow, and with it, flamingos flocking in from far and wide. Elsewhere in Africa, the dry season has left mostly dwindling saline pools, sapped of their moisture. Here, though, there is fresh water. This is an oasis for both greater and lesser flamingos. For Egyptian geese, who have good reason for staying here year-round. For other denizens of Ngorongoro, who need look no further than their own stamping grounds for drink. There is a Maasai saying, The stomach creates friendships, but hunger can make enemies as well. Prey can run, but it can't hide. For the predators of Ngorongoro, there is no temptation to leave. With so many animals drawn by the waters, there is ample meat to go around. Hunters here have all the kill they could want. As for their prey, they're not going anywhere either. Though they can easily traverse the walls that surround them, it would be hard to find greener pastures. These are rich feasting grounds and a bastion for lions. There are 6 prides in all. Counting the occasional nomad, fully 100 cats have the run of the crater. There is trouble in paradise. With so much game to be had, more lions crowd Ngorongoro than any comparable area in Africa. The stress shortens their lives and frays their nerves. Fierce as lions are, they have more to fear than each other. For there is another, more insidious threat that once made even the king of beasts cower. Stomoxys, a blood-sucking fly. In 1962, after a spell of unusually wet months, the crater was infested. Drained of blood, racked by insufferable skin infections, the lions were decimated. Even climbing trees, unusual behavior for the lions, brought no escape. The blight was merciless. Within half a year, some 60 lions had either died or fled the crater. The plague relented as quickly as it began, leaving only 8 survivors in its wake. Since then, newcomers have found their way into this retreat, but not many. Fewer lions means fewer choices for mates. For years, incest has been the norm. Nearly every lion in Ngorongoro today is descended from a mere 15 individuals. Each generation seems to be less fertile, each litter's immune system weaker. Unless more lions from outside the crater fight their way into this exclusive haven, its cats will forever be locked in a genetic bottleneck. There is a delicate balance of power at work on the crater floor. And while the lion struggles against forces beyond its control, there are other predators that are flourishing, unchecked. Hyenas outnumber lions roughly 4 to 1, dividing Ngorongoro among some 8 clans. A female hyena is among the fiercest of killers and gentlest of parents. Jaws that can crush elephant bones are delicate at mothering. The Maasai call them the lame ones, perhaps for their odd posture. Hyenas are ungainly, but they're far from lame. In fact, to mark and police their territory takes a lot of finesse. Borders are determined by scent. A hyena never tires of making its rounds, depositing its distinctive calling card at every turn within its clan's boundaries, and then nosing ahead to sample its neighbor's mark. Each passing odor provokes an ecstasy of sniffing. And if there's something unspeakably smelly to roll in, it makes a hyena's day. But there is good reason for their diligence. The crater is too crowded a place for trespassing to be tolerated, and it doesn't take much for turf wars to flare. A young hyena has strayed into the territory of a competing clan. Now he will have to pay. The attacking clan closes in. At first, hopelessly outnumbered, the victim's clan finally gathers its forces, and his assailants retreat. But it is too late. Where living space comes at so high a price, life is expendable. Savage it may be, but this is the law of the land. With November come the east winds from the Indian Ocean. The malevolent red god now relinquishes his stranglehold to the compassionate black god of rain. Most rain falls on the forested highlands above, but its blessings filter down into the crater. All life benefits from this windfall, but it is especially significant to the crater's herds. Not just because grazers are the most prevalent animals here, but because the lives of so many other creatures revolve around them. Some 8,000 wildebeest thrive here, and they are the staple catch of Ngorongoro's hunters. Like clockwork, the timing of their rut, of their birthing and the rearing of their young is closely in tune with the seasons and closely monitored by predators. Weak as it may be, a newborn can waste no time finding its legs. It is far too vulnerable to attack. Some calves get their footing within 3 minutes of birth and can run within 20. Their survival depends on it. But no matter how quickly a calf manages to mingle with the others, it is still easy to spot in the crater's small herds, and easy prey. For its mother is not the only one that has been anxiously awaiting its birth. Hyenas are tireless observers of animal behavior, and now they train their attentions on the whereabouts of their next meal. Each year, the wildebeest face a daunting prospect. They must somehow ensure the next generation's survival, even after predators have done their worst. That's why the females in a herd give birth within a single 2-week stretch, so that after the hyenas have had their fill, there will be calves left over. But in Ngorongoro, there are many herds, overlapping, and together they give birth over a prolonged span of 7 weeks, so the hunt can drag on. Day after day, hyenas doggedly pursue the herd, targeting the youngest and weakest of the calves. 1 in 4 will likely perish. A mother heads off an attack. Those that take flight are more likely to lose their young. The clan moves in for the kill. The mother's desperate defense becomes futile. Capable killers that they are, hyenas are also adept at subtler approaches. It's hard to tell sometimes if they're hunting at all. The herd allows this deadly intruder to pass alarmingly close. With an air of nonchalance, it ambles by as though food were the last thing on its mind. But it has spied a calf asleep in the grass. With so many hyenas scouring the crater, their prey have no hope of keeping an eye on all of them. In fact, Ngorongoro's predators do their job so thoroughly that few animals here have the luxury of dying of old age. And that is unfortunate for scavengers. The occasional vulture that does test these skies finds little more than a stain on the grass now and then. On the same winds that bring rain to Ngorongoro come Abdom storks by the hundreds. Theirs is a long migration between southern Africa and Ethiopia. Here, though, they find a welcome way station and a byproduct of the rains, insects to eat. It is an irresistible temptation. But then again, the storks are a temptation to others. A golden jackal has caught sight of a bird that's in trouble. Perhaps it's injured, or simply too wet to fly. But this is no easy meal. With its lethally sharp bill, the stork is a worthy opponent. It's an exhausting battle, and the jackal is just too tired to go for the kill. Yet, beaten and plucked of its flight feathers, the stork isn't going anywhere. It won't survive another African night. Come morning, elephants make their sojourn from the crater rim. Their destination, an inviting stand of acacias, known as the Lorai Forest. These trees mature quickly, and some have conveniently toppled, making their bark easy to get to. A grown bull can eat 300 pounds of food a day, sampling fallen as well as living trees. But like anything alive on the crater floor, the acacias have evolved elaborate means of survival. Thick wound tissue congeals where elephants have made their mark. These knobby calluses are enough to dampen the hardiest elephant appetite. But there is another threat to the forest that is far more urgent. Acacias are sensitive to even slight fluctuations in their water supply, and today much of the Lorai forest is dying, victim of the rising soda lake nearby. It is ironic that water should be the Lorai's downfall. It was Ngorongoro's bountiful supply that first gave rise to the forest. In fact, this strain of acacia is so identified with swampy conditions that its nickname is the fever tree, because at one time it was thought to cause malaria. Most anywhere fresh water collects, so do newer growths of acacias. All life in Ngorongoro goes with the flow. Long ago, hippos lumbered over these walls as lakes outside the crater grew crowded or dry. Now they act as if they own the place. Black craics have their work cut out for them. Clearing these immense living islands of flies and parasites is a thankless job. That they're rolling doesn't make it any easier. And a misplaced peck in an open wound gets a shower of disapproval. There are few who would dare challenge the hippo's preeminence here. But opportunities must be seized. A body in the shallows seems ripe for scavenging, even if it means risking dire consequences. It's the bloated corpse of a baby hippo, perhaps the victim of a parent who rolled on it carelessly. To the lioness, it's fair game. But panic spreads across the water. Lions have been known to kill even adult hippos. The face-off is all the more suspenseful because its outcome is so uncertain. Here are opponents, evenly matched, equally determined. Prudence does not always rank among the lion's attributes, but 280 pounds of hunter defers to 3 tenacious tons of hippo. The chance that these two creatures would come into contact with one another during the day is remote. But such encounters are what make this so vibrant a place. Here, the most unlikely paths cross. Among them, the path tread by human feet. Over thousands of years, Ngorongoro was home to many peoples. From their highland dwellings above, along trails well worn by centuries of use, come visitors who are no strangers here. The Maasai and their herds no longer live in the crater, but they do venture down during the dry season to springs familiar from times past. The daily journey on ancient tracks is steep and hazardous, but other dangers await below. Surprisingly, it is the lions that shy away from a confrontation. It appears that generations of Maasai warriors have instilled an unshakable fear in them. And though hunting has long since been outlawed, lions still scurry into hiding, seemingly at the first jangle of cowbells. Today, the Maasai and their cattle have little impact on this tightly restricted wildlife sanctuary. but now and then they make their presence known. It started on the rim and has spread uncontrolled down into the crater. Still, the blaze was no accident. The Maasai have always set fires to make room for fresh pastures. What's good for their cattle could be tragic for Ngorongoro's residents. But the first casualties are only ticks and weeds, long crowding the grounds. Insects flushed out of hiding are picked off by black kites that dare brave the heat. At last, authority is at hand. But are their efforts really for the best? Is fire a menace or friend to Ngorongoro? The truth is, for Africa's grasslands, the flames are something of a cleansing agent. Fire has unexpected advantages. Weeks have passed, and while the fields that were spared look as parched as ever, the burnt side of the fire break is luxuriant with fresh grass. Its sweet scent is already a magnet for wildebeest. The ticks and undergrowth are gone, and the short grass in their place is like ambrosia. Despite its merits, fire is still treated with alarm in this sanctuary. Yet, the authorities have allowed another force free rein within the crater, one that is equally powerful and arguably more destructive. And it spreads as fast as any wildfire. The black kite has witnessed the disappearance of the Maasai and the coming of the tourists. This is a strictly controlled reserve, reserved perhaps for sightseers. The black kites are learning bad habits. They harass the picnickers who have come to see their natural behavior. Try as we might, we are not some detached observers. Though we come here to appreciate from afar, we can't help but have an impact on this fragile realm. Here it is possible to experience all Africa in a single day, but too many are bound to that schedule, and visitors are out of sync with the noble pace of life in Ngorongoro. In the crater area, new lodges seem to spring up faster than any acacia tree. 1,100 beds, 100 vehicles a day, tens of thousands of visitors a year. Is this gem of a wilderness becoming a glorified zoo? There is something primeval about this place, something impenetrable and fierce. And yet, all it has done to make us marvel so is simply survive. Like a fortress against time, Ngorongoro stubbornly stands its ground. Here the world is as it ever was, a last outpost against the changing whims of the world beyond. The core of Africa has endured another day. Tonight, as the curtains close again across this living amphitheater, we can only hope that the drama that is Ngorongoro will forever unfold.
We hope you have enjoyed this presentation from the National Geographic Video Library.
The power and beauty of nature captured in the facets of a few precious stones. Rare and everlasting, these gems have captivated the imagination of mankind for centuries.
These are objects which go on forever. The older they get, the more charming, the more beautiful they are.
Forged beneath a fiery earth or formed in the depths of our oceans, they are sought by a frenzy of fortune hunters.
It's good art, believe me.
Men will die for them, and some women will live for them.
Fine. Now I'm happy.
Take a dazzling journey around the world. National Geographic unlocks a treasure chest of splendid stones. Deep within the forests of India, long abandoned by man, nature holds the land in her powerful grip. Hidden behind a lush curtain of secrecy, a lone hunter rules. Stealthily and silently, it stalks, and with deadly skill, overcomes its prey. Journey with National Geographic into the land of the tiger.